Today on Making IT Easy, we're going to look at setting alarms. Hey, we're going to touch on the budget. The game of the day is Wordscapes, our app is Stokard, and something for nothing is walking trails.
Walking trails?
Yeah.
What a fascinating option.
Yes.
Yeah, good choice.
Okay,
Good choice.
something a little different.
Yes, we're going to do something a little different.
Yes. Speaking of different, no Elvis again today.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was doing a bit of a Mother's Day thing, and he hardly fits into the Mother's Day category. Maybe he does,
sure
but not
lots
like,
of
yeah, okay.
Lots of mothers.
I was doing a bit of a ladies-only singers today, and that's the category he didn't fit into. So we're going to start with Peggy Lee.
Okay.
I've Got You Under My Skin. I think it's a pretty good option for a starting song.
I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I've tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair never could go so well. But why should I try to resist when, darling, I know so well I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything, come what may, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a voice that comes in the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin, 'cause I've got you under my skin. Anything, come what may, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a voice that comes in the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin, 'cause I've got you. Yes, I've got you. Ooh, I've got you under my skin.
That's a very different version than the Frank Sinatra one that we all know and love.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Or at least I hope that's what you meant.
I was bopping along. Happy Mother's Day tomorrow for everybody, all the mothers out there.
Yes.
We're getting early because we won't be online tomorrow.
No, that's right. While we're talking about bopping along, though, big thanks to James Ray for In Your Neighbourhood. Another wonderful show. Thank you very much, James. Good stuff.
Excellent. So, recap on last week's tips and tricks.
Please.
Look, it was a little bit of a lot to learn last week, because reminders are this was about reminders, yeah. Reminders are a bit challenging to do, especially using the apps on the iPhone space. And I think if you use Siri, if you've got Siri set up on your Apple devices, it will make life so much easier. And I apologise in advance for what I'm about to say, but if you say something like, "Hey Siri, set a reminder every Saturday at 12 o'clock, then Siri will pop up and say, "What would you like to be reminded about?" And then you say, "Listen to Making IT Easy on 107.3 HFM." And then Siri will respond with, "Gotcha." And then if you go into your reminder app on your Apple devices, you will notice that there will be an entry there for every Saturday weekly from 12 o'clock saying, "Listen to Making IT Easy on 107.3.
That's how you make it easy. That's brilliant.
That's the way to do it with the iPhone. If you have an Android, you can tell Google or ask Google to do exactly the same thing by starting off with "Hey," and then the word Google. Hopefully I said that with enough gap, not to trigger your phones. The other thing you can use is the Google Calendar app. If you have the Google Calendar app installed, it will work across Apple, Android, Microsoft, whatever computer device you have or smart device you have, and then setting the reminders in the Google Calendar app will be available on all of your platforms, which is a really nice way to do that going forward. If you'd like more details, have a look at our magooit.com.au website and follow your nose to the links on making IT easy. And last week's show notes were episode 33, so if you go in there you can actually have a listen to last week's recording and look through the show notes, which step you through how to set reminders. When we come back, we'll talk about alarms in a bit.
Wonderful. I'm going to do a little bit of a chat about some of the artists that we have today and how they interact with mother and daughter. So coming up is Dream a Little Dream of Me, originally written in 1931, but this is the 1968 version with Mama Cass. Mama Cass was born Ellen Naomi Cohen in 1941, known professionally as Mama Cass and later as Cass Elliot, was a member of the singing group of the Mamas and the Papas. She also released 5 studio albums after they broke up. She gave birth to a daughter, Owen Vanessa Elliott, on April the 26th. Great day that. 1967. Owen also grew up to become a singer and toured with the Beach Boys member Al Jardine. So, yes, there is spawn singers there. After Mama Cass died in her sleep at age 32, her younger sister Leah actually took over custody of the 7-year-old young Owen and raised her with her own son Nathaniel. So this is Dream a Little Dream of Me with the delightful Mama Cass.
Shining bright above you, night breezes seem to whisper I love you, birds singing in the sycamore tree, dream a little dream of me, say nighty night and kiss me, just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me while I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you, sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you, but in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you, sweet dreams that leave all worries far behind you, but in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Hey, I like that. That's
Yeah.
Mama Cass, eh? Fantastic. Just a bit of a jive. So we we're going to slip into tips and tricks, something new.
Yes.
And look, following on from reminders,
Right.
because I know when we talked about alarms and reminders last week, we kind of bundled them together, but it ended up being a little bit more complicated
It was a
than
bit
I'd
more
anticipated.
reminders than alarms. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I thought I'd break it up into
Separate it. That
two
sounds
separate
great.
things. So again, I want to talk about the iPhones and the Androids separately, although they are very, very similar in regards to alarms. Yeah. So if we talk about the iPhone, as we mentioned previous to Mama Cass's fantastic rendition of Dream a Little Dream, you can ask your voice assistants or your smart assistants to help you. So simply you can say, hey, Siri, set an alarm for Saturday at 12 o'clock. And it will set that one-off alarm. You can then go in and change because it pops up on the screen with a little bubble saying that it's set the alarm, and you can actually go in there and click on change or adjust and then play around with settings to make it weekly or adjusting the time and things like that. So you can play around with those options. Again, in the Android space, you can ask Google to do the same thing. And the other night when I was setting an alarm, because often I go to bed and it's like, oh, what have I got on tomorrow? I've got a 7:30 start, so I'll just lean over, well, not even lean over, and just say, hey, Google, set an alarm for 6 a.m. And then it's done. I struggle to actually set the alarm using my finger because I don't know where to go to find the clock and do things because I'm so used to just the voice stuff. So when you get used to that, you'll find that's a really good way going forward.
I do a lot of alarm setting when I'm out and about. You know, I might be walking from, the car into Coles and it's like, oh, that's right, I was meant to call somebody back this afternoon. I know I'm going to be home at 4:30, so I'll quickly set an alarm for 4:30 and call Fred back. So I do a lot of that day-to-day kind of alarms.
The benefit of alarm over reminder is reminder will just kind of do a single chime and then pop up on your screen.
Yeah.
So you'll miss it if you're not paying attention or looking at your device frequently, whereas an alarm's going to ring and keep ringing until you turn it off.
And then you can snooze it. That's right.
Absolutely.
And in our household, we're known for actually snooze. I'm not going to turn it off until we actually finish whatever the task is.
Yeah, the number of times I yell across the room, are we going to turn that alarm off? No, we're snoozing it again. Okay. So if you want to do it the finger method on your devices, you look for the clock app. The clock app is common to both the iPhone and the Android space. And once you go into the clock, and specifically I talk about the iPhone or the iPad, across the bottom of your clock, there are 4 options, one of which is alarm. When you tap on alarm, you then have a plus in the top right-hand corner. And once you click on the plus, you can then specify the time. And the Apple way of doing things is you kind of scroll your finger and it changes the hours and the minutes. And then you can, at that point, specify whether it's a repeating alarm. You can give it a name if you like, and you can change the sound, which is a useful
Really
thing
helpful.
to do. Yeah.
Yep.
You might want to have it to remember that,
You need to call your mother-in-law.
Exactly, for Mother's Day. And there's an option where you can allow snooze or you can turn snooze off.
I didn't know that.
I recommend you don't turn snooze off.
No, it's too handy.
But it gives you the option to kind of postpone. I think it's 9 minutes is the universal standard snooze time across all devices.
Okay.
So that's really all you need to do in the iPhone space. If we talk about the Androids, and it's really quickly, so we'll put it all together in the same thing. Again, you go into the clock app, and then once you're in the clock app, and I'll just do it on mine now to make sure, across the bottom you've got options. One of those options is alarm. You then have a plus sign, which you tap on, and then instead of the scrolling wheels that Apple give you, you get the hands of a clock that you spin around to determine what your start time and minute is. Once you've selected that, you can OK it. And then it opens a pane showing you what you've specified, and then you can go in and specify the days of the week, whether it's a repeated, whether it's what they call a scheduled alarm, so it's a regular thing. So there's a lot of things you can play around with in that space, right?
Okay.
But again, the quickest and easiest way to set a one-off alarm is just use your voice assistant going forward.
And ask the little guy to do it for you. Excellent. We are going into one of your favourite songs, Feeling Good. This one's Nina Simone, originally 1964. This version's actually 1965. She was born as Eunice Wayman in North Carolina. Her father worked as a barber, dry cleaner and an entertainer, and her mother was a Methodist preacher. The sixth of 8 children in a poor family, she began playing piano at the age of 3 or 4. She had one daughter, Lisa, who is now a singer and performer. Was in the line.
High, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me. Woo, woo, woo. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Easy on 107.3.
Next time your internet buffers, lags, or drops out, I want you to say it with me, Perth. We deserve better internet. Get your internet flying through the air quick as a flash. Pentanet is Perth's own private internet network, delivering super fast fixed wireless internet in selected coverage areas. With $0 standard install for a 12-month home or business fixed wireless plan, join Pentanet and make the switch to fast, reliable, local internet. Search Pentanet now.
Station sponsor.
If you have an opinion or a question, text us on 0485 838 436. Making IT easy with Tony and Kay on HFM 107.3.
107.3 HFM, the voice of your community, is proudly supported by
Hugh Jones, member for Darling Range.
Dome Cafe, Armidale and Kelmscott.
Become a corporate member and support the voice of your community. Go to the webpage heritagefm.org for email details or to find out more.
Billy Ray was a preacher's son, and when his daddy would visit, he'd come along. When they gathered around and started talking, Cousin Billy would take me walking. Out through the backyard we go walking. Then he looked into my eyes. Lord knows to my surprise, the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Yes, he was. No matter how hard I tried, when he started sweet talking to me, he'd come and tell me everything is alright. He'd kiss and tell me everything is alright. Can I get away again tonight? The only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the
Thornley, Mount Nasura and Jarradale. We're the voice of your community. 107.3 HFM.
And how about some news? So, phone scams up and down. Have you recently noticed an increase in scam SMS messages?
Yes, I have actually.
The Australian Communications and Media Authority, ACMA, have recently taken action against 3 telcos in response to compliance failures that allowed scammers to send SMS road toll, Medicare and Australia Post impersonation scams to unsuspecting customers. The 3 telcos in question are Cinch, Australia Proprietary Limited, Info BIP and Phone Card Selector. You've probably never heard of those guys, but it doesn't matter. They have access to our network. So, yeah. According to ACMA, its investigations found that these telcos allowed SMSs to be sent using text-based send IDs without sufficient checks to ensure that they were being used legitimately. As a result, scammers were able to exploit this loophole and send fraudulent messages to individuals posing as legitimate organisations such as, I mentioned, Australia Post and Medicare.
Yes.
InfoBip was found to be the biggest offender, allowing a staggering 103,000 odd non-compliant SMSs to be sent. Cinch was 14,000 odd. ACMA have taken swift action against these telcos, imposing hefty fines and requiring them to take steps to fight such compliance failures from occurring again in the future.
Glad they did that. Thank you very much.
Speaking of some steps taken in that space, a quick recap of the budget with regards to tech. I don't know that you've actually thought about the tech implications of the budget.
I saw something in social media saying it was very tech heavy.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Tell me what you think. So last week, a sizable chunk was devoted to tech, as you just mentioned.
Yes.
Diving into some of these areas, 116 million. Now, this is over generally 4 or 5 years. So over 5 years for the Department of Industry, Science and Resources to support the development of critical technologies in Australia to drive economic growth. Also to boost technology industries and to support the creation of new jobs. This includes, of that, 101 million to help businesses broadly support quantum computing and AI. No surprise there, quantum computing has been around for quite some time now, where they're looking at that stuff and of course integrating that with AI. So that's 100 million bucks over the next 5 years. 14 mil over the next 4 years to help the Powering Australia Industry Growth Centre as part of the Australian-made battery plan. So that's an interesting way they're trying to look at harnessing some of the solar energy that we're kind of losing and not making the most of. So Google that, the Australian-made battery plan, if you're interested in more details. 132 odd million over 4 years for STEM. That's the Science, Technology and Engineering and Mathematics scheme. About 90 million of that to be used in schools over the next few years to build better IT platforms.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, read up about STEM. There's some really good initiatives in that space.
Yep.
134 odd mil for the Office of E-Safety Commissioner to continue doing their thing.
I quite like that too.
That covers a broad spectrum of areas.
The E-Safety Commissioner is basically looking at sexting, texting. It's how young people use the internet and communicate with each other to make sure everything's above board and they're not being taken advantage of.
If you look at eSafety, I think it's esafety.gov.au website, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there if you're interested in finding out what they're doing with your money. 392 million, so it's just small. 392 million over 4 years to help small businesses and startups commercialise their ideas and grow their operations. It's a bit vague there, but that's a lot of money to help with small business and startups. So good on you. 86 million over 4 years to combat scams and online fraud. So hopefully that will help. Maybe those numbers should be swapped around a little bit, but anyway.
It doesn't seem like a lot in the scheme of things.
26 mil for working in the digital ID space.
Right.
That's probably a reasonable amount of money to spend in that space.
This is the whole not using passwords anymore, but using pass
keys. And a whole bunch of other methods of validating your identity digitally. And of course, 134 million. I say of course because it's our old favourite MyGov. Because MyGov is so bulletproof, they need to keep that going. $134 million, thank you. And there's no time frame on that one, so that might be a year. Who knows?
Wow.
Anyway, it's that budget news. one more, just a little different. Get used to the name, folks. Linda Yaccarino, NBC's Universal Head of Advertising, is in talks to take up the role of CEO for Twitter as Elon Musk announces he is stepping down. The billionaire entrepreneur, known for his ambitious ventures in space travel, electric vehicles and renewable energy, has made headlines since October 22, really, when he purchased the social media platform of Twitter.
And then when he went online and said, you can vote on whether you want me to stay here or not, and he got voted out.
That's right, very, very early on in the piece. He bought it for about $44 billion, just in case you weren't familiar with that.
Change.
Anyway, his tenure as CEO has been marked with controversy and erratic behaviour, and his decision to step down has been met with both scepticism and relief. The news of his departure comes amid mounting concerns about his leadership style and the impact that he has had on the company. He's been criticised for his penchant for Twitter feuds, his disregard for traditional corporate governance, and his tendency to make both bold and often outlandish statements that have the potential to harm Twitter's reputation. That's what happens when you put a businessman in charge, right? If Linda Yaccarino is indeed successful, she's expected to take over in about 6 weeks' time. So, interesting times ahead.
Stay tuned for Twitter news. Our next lady singer is Cilla Black, Anyone Who Had a Heart, 1964, written by Burt Bacharach, actually, and Hal David lyrics for Dionne Warwick in 1963, but this is the Cilla Black version. In May 2010, research published by BBC Radio 2 revealed that this particular song, Anyone Who Had a Heart by Cilla Black, was the biggest female UK chart hit of the 1960s.
Wow.
That's a big call, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
She actually married her manager, Bobby Willis, in January 69. She had 3 sons called Robert, Ben and Jack, and a daughter, Ellen, who sadly passed away shortly after her birth. This is Cilla Black, Anyone Who Had a Heart.
Could look at me and know that I love you. Anyone who ever dreamed could look at me and know I dream of you. Knowing I love you so. Anyone who had a heart would take me in his arms and love me too. Couldn't be another heart that hurt me like you hurt me and be so untrue. What am I to do? Every time you go away, I always say, this time it's goodbye, dear. Loving you the way I do, I take you back. Without you I'd die, dear. Knowing I love you so. Anyone who had a heart would take me in his arms and love me too. Couldn't be another heart that hurt me like you hurt me and be so untrue. What am I to do?
Tell us what we have this week on Something for Nothing, Tony.
What do we have this week? Oh, walking tours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was excited about this one. Tell us more.
Okay. So, obviously, walking around is not very tech-based.
Well, not necessarily.
However, there is an app. So I'll tell you about the app right up front. It's called Perth Trails.
Okay.
Okay, so go to the App Store, the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store and look for Perth Trails as an app and you'll be able to install that. Now, having said it, you don't need to actually use it, but the benefit of the app is it gives you a whole bunch of trails that have been curated that you can kind of self-pace walk your way around and have a look at stuff, which is just awesome.
This is amazing. I've always liked the idea of rocking up to the Perth airport to pretend I've just arrived in my own city and do a bit of touring as if I was a tourist. This is a great idea.
Possibly not starting at Perth Airport though, because there's not much to do kind of in that space.
Well, now you can catch the train somewhere, which is exciting.
Yeah. Anyway, when you install this app, it comes up with an option for Explore, and then you can scroll through the various things. Now, I suggest you install the app. If you live in Perth, you should know about these things. I mean, when's the last time you actually went out and had a look at some of the local attractions that people are flying in from interstate and around the world?
Right.
And
yes.
you have your relatives and friends come over and you say, oh, what's there to do? We take them to Kings Park.
Yeah.
But there's more than just Kings Park, and even at Kings Park, there are so many things to do there you probably don't even know about. So have a look at the Perth Trails app, install it and have a play. There's things like Cultural Heart, the Art City, Claysbrook Cove, which is a relatively new...
Yes.
I say relatively
I didn't
new.
know about that. I went to Claysbrook Cove just recently and they were doing an Easter egg hunt. Well, I was doing an Easter egg hunt. Everyone else was ignoring it. That would have been a fantastic option.
Yeah.
And then you
Elizabeth
can
Quay.
stop for a coffee.
Yep.
Yes.
Elizabeth Quay's relatively new. There's a lot of stuff going on there. And, of course, there's a whole... information about the Wajiduk country and all of that kind of stuff and how we've embraced or re-embraced or re-engaged with all of that stuff. So that's really good. So the Perth Trails app offers informative walking trails designed to showcase Perth's history, heritage, art and cultural points of interest, and it's curated by the City of Perth by a bunch of people that know what they're talking about. All right, so this is well worth looking. I'm just reading the stuff that's on the tin. It's suitable for people of all ages, from curious residents, and that's us, to seasoned travellers, which could also be you,
us.
and families alike. Using the app, you can discover fun facts and interesting stories about Perth along the way. The trails have been planned with accessibility in mind and feature public transport access as well as private transport access throughout. You'll also be sport for choice with an array of food and beverage options across all routes, with ample access to public toilets, refreshments, location and playgrounds too. All right. So go and try, at least install the app and have a look at what options there are. Now, while we're in that space, if you feel like walking around with somebody and like a guided tour where they spend time with you in groups, there's a knowledgeable volunteer tour guides office. They offer 90-minute orientation stuff from the Forest Chase kiosk. So in the city, you can book online, and they take groups of up to 15 people, so you can just be a single person joining, and they fill the spots, and then when they've got the spots filled, they can organise for these tours to go. Or if you've got larger groups, you can organise group bookings or just go in, and
Still talking free, are we?
Yes, 90 minutes. They are free. They're on various days of the week. So if you go online to visitperth.com, very easy to remember, visitperth.com, or you can Google walking tours or free walking tours in Perth. There are walking tours that charge, but these ones are put on by the City of Perth and they are absolutely free. So you can look at some of the topics here: icons of influence, the Big Boom tour, convicts and colonials, Perth Town Hall, the Art City tour, and just a general orientation tour. Look, there is so much to do in the City of Perth, and now that the weather's cooled down a little bit, if you can pick a day where it's not rainy, it's going to be nice to stretch your legs and go out there, enjoy some food, check out the culture, and learn something about our wonderful city.
I love it. I love it. Carole King, 1971, I Feel the Earth Move, written and recorded by American songwriter Carole King herself. This is her version. Her children are musicians Lewis Goffin and Sherry Goffin Condor, artist Molly Larkey and Levi Larkey.
I feel my heart start to trembling whenever you're around. Ooh, baby, when I see your face, mellow as the month of me. Oh, darling, I can't stand it when you look at me that way. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down. I feel my heart start to trembling whenever you're around. Ooh, darling, when you're near me and you tenderly call my name, I know that my emotions are something I just can't tame. I just got to have you, baby. Yeah. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down, tumbling down. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down, tumbling down. I just lose control down to my very soul. I get hot and cold all over, all over, all over, all over. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down, tumbling down. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down.
When they give it easy, 107.3.
Is the stress and burden of doing your own bookkeeping overwhelming? Station sponsor AW Bookkeeping and Secretarial Services specialise in MYOB, BAS, payroll, debt collecting and much more. They will help you to develop and implement procedures that are customised for you. AW Bookkeeping hold the competitive edge in customer service, striving to make your business successful. With 23 years of knowledge and experience, AW Bookkeeping will assist you with all of your bookkeeping and secretarial needs. Contact Amanda 0438 307 730.
Stay on Your Feet is a campaign by Injury Matters and supported by the Department of Health. Falls are preventable. Each year, 1 in 3 people over 60 will experience a fall, some resulting in serious injury and not being able to return to independent living. Here are 3 steps for you to follow to help prevent slips, trips and falls so that you can stay on your feet and get on with enjoying the fun things in life. Move, improve and remove. Move your body regularly. It'll improve your balance and posture, strengthen your muscles and bones, and improve your overall fitness level and general well-being. Improve your health. Looking after your health and well-being is especially important as you get older and allow you to stay independent and prevent illness and injury. It's important to be aware of your physical and mental health. If you notice any changes such as feeling dizzy, pain, drowsiness or depression, see your GP. Remove hazards. As your body gets older, changes occur. Feel confident that you can adapt to these changes and make your home safer so that you can continue to live an active and independent life. There is a lot more information on the website at stayonyourfeet.com.au or call 1300 30 35 40. Stay on Your Feet by Injury Matters.
Busted flat in Baton Rouge, waiting for a train, and I was feeling near as faded as my jeans. Bobby thumbed a diesel down just before it rained and rode us all the way to New Orleans. I pulled my harpoon song that driving knew. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing, don't mean nothing, honey, if it ain't free. No, no. Yeah, feeling good was easy, love, when he sang the blues. You know, feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and my Bobby again. From the Kentucky coal mine to the California sun, hey, Bobby shared the secrets of my soul. Through all kinds of weather, through everything that we've done, yeah, Bobby, baby, kept me floating the whole world. One day up near Selena Sloan, I let him slip away. He's looking for that home, and I hope he finds it. But I trade all of my tomorrows for one single yesterday, to be holding Bobby's body next to mine. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing, that's all that Bobby left me. But feeling good was easy, loud when he sang the blues. Hey, feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and my Bobby, yeah. La da da, la da da da, la da da, la da da da, la da da, la da Bobby, yeah. La da 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 da, la da da da, la da da da, Bobby, yeah. La da da, 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 la da. Hey, no Bobby, no Bobby McGee, yeah. La da la da la da da, la da da la da la da la da la. Hey, no Bobby, no Bobby McGee, yeah. Now when I call him my lover, call him my man, I said I call him my lover, did the best I can, come on. And the Bobby, no, and the Bobby McGee, yeah. La da la da la da la da la. Hey, 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 Bobby McGee, la. It was Janis Joplin with Me and Bobby McGee, 1971. You probably already know this, but she was born in Texas in 1943 to Dorothy, who was a registrar at a business college, and her husband Seth, who was an engineer at Texaco. She had two younger siblings, Laura and Michael, and the family was with the First Christian Church of Port Arthur. She had a number of relationships with both men and women, but never had any children. She died at age 27 from a drug overdose in 1970, and this song was actually released, or that song was released a year afterwards in 1971. And what do we have this week in history? Tech history. 1992, ID Software Inc. releases the game Wolfenstein 3D, the original first-person shooter game for DOS computers. That's where I started my gaming. 1997, the IBM computer and artificial intelligence Deep Blue defeats reigning chess champion and one of its greatest chess players of all time, Garry Kasparov. Of course, AI is taking over passing degrees and things now, so hasn't time changed. That was 1997. 1998, at the Flint Centre Theatre, the same place where Macintosh was first unveiled in 1984, Steve Jobs introduced the original iMac. Wow, such a long time ago, and yet just yesterday.
In music history, we have 1978. Boney M was at number 1 on the UK singles chart with Rivers of Babylon. Bet you remember that. That was just the other day. The Monkees, 1967. Second album, More of the Monkees, went to number 1 on the UK charts. 1989, closer to home, Kylie Minogue was number 1 on the UK singles chart with her second solo number 1, Hand on Your Heart. Poor old Kylie, she's done pretty well overseas, hasn't she? Not so great here. 2008, the US Postal Service issued a 42-cent postage stamp in honour of Frank Sinatra. The design showed a 1950s vintage-style image of Sinatra wearing a hat. Of course he was. Nicely done. And if today is your birthday, you share it with the amazing American musician, singer, songwriter, record producer and multi-instrumentalist Stevie Wonder, child prodigy who developed into one of the most creative musical figures of the late 20th century. He's been blind shortly after birth, signed the Motown's Tamala label at the age of 11 and continues to perform and record for Motown to this day.
Amazing man.
He is indeed. And more music. Yay! Ain't No Mountain High Enough, 1966 originally. This version is 1970. She was the second of 6 children born to Ernestine and Fred Ross Sr. So, of course, this is Diana Ross. Her mother named her Diane, but her birth certificate was mistakenly filled out with the name Diana. Her family and Detroit friends called her Diane all her life. She grew up with 2 sisters, Barbara and Rita, and 3 brothers, Arthur, Fred Jr. and Wilbert, also known as Chico. She's been married twice, has 5 children, 3 ex-stepchildren and 7 grandchildren. Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
If you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far, just call my name. I'll be there in a hurry. On that you can depend and never worry. No wind, no wind, no rain, no rain. Oh, winter's cold. Miss my loving one of these old days. If you should ever miss the arms that used to hold you so close, or the lips that used to touch yours so tenderly, just remember what I told you the day I set you free. No mountain high enough, no mountain low enough, no river wide enough, keep me from you. No mountain high enough. Can
Tiff time.
Let's have a tiff, shall we?
Yes, well, we'll try.
All right.
We tend to agree too often, but we can give it a shot.
Let me make a statement.
Okay.
Smartwatches are a waste of money.
Yeah, okay. I'm on board with that.
Let me give you an introductory paragraph.
Okay.
Smartwatches have become an integral part of everyday life for many people in recent years. Is that bollocks? They are no longer just a fancy accessory or a novelty item, but rather a practical and useful device that can help us stay connected and organised. With features like fitness tracking, notifications, and even voice assistance, smartwatches have transformed the way we interact with technology and each other. Do you agree, Kay?
No, well, some of it, not really. I'm not sure which side I'm meant to be taking.
Well,
but
I'm giving you the option.
Yeah.
I'll play both.
Look, I'm not a huge fan of smartwatches. I think they're a bit of a waste of time, to tell you the truth. And I'm one of the worst people for being on my phone when I'm in the middle of a conversation or having it next to me or it beeping. But I find it even more uncomfortable when people are constantly checking messages on their wrist when I'm trying to talk to them. I think that's even worse.
Well, that's a whole other thing, isn't it? If you're face to face with somebody having drinks or dinner or whatever, your phone really shouldn't be part of this at all. It should be either upside down in do not disturb mode or in your pocket or your purse.
With your phone, you have the option for having an emergency call break through Do Not Disturb, and I think that's very important. We've had long discussions about this, about whether you should take mobile phones on dates with you, and some people are very aggressively that no, you shouldn't. But I argue that if you've got kids or if you've got family, there might be an emergency, you actually still want to be contactable, but only for those things that are an emergency.
So I put to you then, if you're wearing a watch with haptics meaning it buzzes and vibrates on your wrist, and you can quickly glance down and see that it's a message from the babysitter or whatever, is that not better and less intrusive than your phone?
And you put the watch on Do Not Disturb, do you?
The watch follows the protocols you set on your device. So if you have an Android device, you get a Samsung Android phone, Android watch, and then they talk to each other. So they literally know. So one's an extension of the other. If you've got an Apple watch with an Apple iPhone, then again they talk to each other in the Apple sphere. So yes, you would get a bzz, bzz on your wrist, which is very discreet, and you can have a quick glance at it, and usually the message will pop up with enough detail, assuming the person isn't writing paragraphs, for you to either ignore it or whatever. And I think that's a nicer option than physically getting your phone out and having a look at it, because it's...
No, I find that constant looking at your watch over and over again is actually quite rude.
I guess I query whether constant is an accurate representation of how often it would be, unless you're, a tech geeky person who really likes to. If your conversation is that exciting that you're looking at your watch frequently, then perhaps you shouldn't be having that conversation in the first.
It's hard not to, isn't it? If you get that beep beep on your wrist, it's really hard to ignore that.
A couple of positive things that I think, besides the discreetness, if you like, as far as things like Fitbit. You must have heard of Fitbit. They've been around for years.
Yes.
Tracking your steps and motivating you to be more active.
You can do that using your phone. You don't need the watch.
That's true. Some people don't necessarily subscribe to having mobile phones or as a bigger part of the life, especially seniors. They seem to be a bit averse to having mobile phones at all. So something on your wrist that vibrates every 30 minutes to say, hey, get up and stretch, or have you done your 30 minutes of exercise today, might be kind of a nicer way to keep you motivated and organised. We used to be, but all our family, yes, we used to be Apple people years ago. We've moved over to Android now, simply because, in my opinion, as a techspert, Apple stuff is just too expensive, and you can get, as good an experience really from the Android stuff. Not to knock the Apple stuff, it's really good.
And I know that you would still tend to recommend the Apple iPhone if somebody already has an iPad and they're familiar with it, and particularly if you're a senior and you're wanting to stay in the same space.
Yeah, they tend to be a little easier to use, but Android has made some significant inroads into that over the years. So, now toss a coin almost. But when I used to have my Apple Watch, it has a slightly larger screen, and I think the Samsung Watch has a large screen as well. But when you're driving in the car, and if you're using the navigation system, it used to bzz once to say that you've got a left turn coming up, and it would twice to say you've got a right turn coming up. Fantastic. You don't have to look at your screen, you don't have to listen to the voice assist. You just know that the next intersection, you've got to turn left.
Yes,
great idea.
It's so much easier than listening to it say turn left.
Absolutely. And you can kind of glance at the watch. You can glance at the watch as well, and it shows you just a little quite a big thumbnail, about 1.5 inches square, with an arrow and the name of the street and how far and stuff like that.
But it's so tiny. You've got this tiny little screen on you.
I'm saying it's actually quite big, the Apple Watch in particular, and I think the Samsung watches are too. But look, horses for courses, there are a lot of things that you can do, and if you fancy jumping onto our website and having a look at our show notes at magooit.com.au, I've got an article breaking down the information. So notifications, if the phone's ringing, you don't have to take your phone out of your pocket or your wallet. It'll tell you who's calling, and you can tap on it to answer it, and Dick Tracy style, or you can double tap on it to send it to voicemail, things like that. It can monitor your heart rate. It's great for navigation, as I've mentioned, and safety for falling over, right? If you are wearing a smartwatch that is capable, any kind of sudden gravity shift, falling on the ground, that kind of stuff can help. So great. There we go. If you have an opinion...
I reckon save your money for something else.
If you have an opinion and you want to talk about it, please text us or jump on our website and click on feedback or listener question or any of those buttons that allow you to put information in. You can be anonymous if you want to, but it'd be interesting to collect some information about what you people think about this stuff.
Yes, and I will say that you can get a very wide range of price of smartwatches. So if you want to hop onto something like Wish or Temu or one of those cheap sites which gets really cheap stuff, you can get something really cheap and just give it a whirl and see if you think it might be something that works for you. And then if you really like it, then you could move on to a real one.
A real one.
Laura Branigan. I was talking to somebody just recently who's such a Laura Branigan fan that he's going around from thrift shop to thrift shop looking for some of her music. So, Gloria, 1979. She was actually born Laura Ann Branigan, July 3rd, 1952 in New York, the fourth of 5 children. An account executive and mutual funds broker was her father. Her younger brother, William Billy Branigan, is also a musician, played guitar in Branigan's backing band early in her career, and later contributed to her 1993 album Over My Heart as a co-producer, arranger, guitarist, bassist, backing vocalist, in addition to co-writing the track Over You. So quite the family there. She married lawyer Larry Krutek in 1978, but unfortunately they didn't have any children. So she'll have to do Mother's Day with her mother, not her kids.
I
Remotes East Vic Park, we have WA's largest range of replacement garage and gate remote controls. Genuine or aftermarket, online or in-store. We're fully licensed to cut and program spare car keys, flip and smart proximity keys for a huge range of makes and models. We also do repairs. Find us at reedsremotes.com.au or give us a call on 6110 2693. reedsremotes.com.au. Station sponsor.
MRB 8165.
Huntingdale, Wollongong and Oldbury. We're the voice of your community. 107.3 HFM.
From the Innovation Hub. Future Tech. Right. Ready for it?
I am.
E-skin.
Oh, seriously?
Look, if you haven't been following the series on Future Tech in the Innovation Hub, it's worth going back to listen to some of our past episodes.
It is. We've had special Band-Aids and special contacts on your eyeballs.
Yep, if you want to be Terminator. Yeah, but anyway, this is e-skin.
Wow.
So it is based on the Internet of Things and touch. It's enabled by wireless self-sensing and haptic reproducing electronic skin.
Okay, so there is a picture here that I can see which looks like it's an armband.
Yes.
So it's not something that covers your whole skin necessarily.
Potentially.
It might be... Okay.
You could be wearing a suit, like a VR kind of suit, in that space. But
It's a little scary to start with. How about we start with just an armband?
Tactile sensations are essential to our daily interactions with the world, right? Agreed? Yeah, touch is probably one of the most important things to make you feel part of life and comfortable and belonging and a whole bunch of feelings. You know? So the warm embrace of a loved one to the a firm grip of a handshake, it's a fundamental aspect of our human connection.
It's also chemistry, the oxytocin that's released when you have physical contact with somebody.
However, in our increasing world of
isolation,
which is relying, it's true, and we're looking at technology in ways. Technology tends to keep us away, especially during the COVID and the Zoom times. We're miles apart. You remember the kissy lips we talked about a while ago?
Yes.
Well, it's an interesting concept. So this is where kind of the idea of wireless touch comes in, right?
I still don't know what we're talking about here yet.
So researchers have developed a wireless, self-sensing and haptic reproducing electronic skin that can revolutionise the way that we interact with the world. This flexible and self-sensing actuator provides an integrated function in both tactile sensing and haptic feedback. Now, we've talked about haptic feedback. That's kind of a little vibration. It's the way of the machine talking back to you.
Non-verbal communication from a device.
Yeah. So when the e-skin is dynamically pressed in some way, the actuator generates an induced voltage, and that's translated to sort of tactile information. This can be via wireless communication.
This is so
and of course, another device, another piece of e-skin wherever in the world can receive this tactile data and run a synchronized haptic reproduction of what it is. So if you touch, grip somebody's arm gently with 5 fingers, for example, each of the sensors of the e-skin will pick up those sensors and turn that into a signal over the internet wirelessly to a receiver and translate that to another piece of e-skin, if you like. And it's two-way, like an intercom almost, yeah?
My brain is just... Like, first of all, it's really nice that you could give somebody else, like, you've got a virtual hug that you can send, but this would actually be a virtual hug.
Well, yeah.
Yes. And then I'm thinking, what about your pets? You could give your pets a virtual hug in the middle of the day when you're thinking of them and they're at home on their own. And then I'm thinking, what about people you don't like? You could give them a virtual punch in the face. I'm liking all of these options.
Perhaps not so drastically, but yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, of course, it can be connected to various smart devices. So you could potentially have an app on your phone to touch a part of the body or whatever it is.
And there's a whole nother layer.
Yep. So one-to-one and one-to-multi. So you could have a classroom of people that you're doing stuff to. Imagine doing an antenatal class where you're talking to the fathers-to-be about where to press on the abdomen.
No. This needs to be an antenatal class where the fathers experience what it's like. So I'm on board with this.
So a little bit on the tin here. Imagine a world where a doctor can diagnose a patient remotely by feeling their symptoms through e-skin. So put on this little girdly kind of thing and he can examine your abdomen. We'll see what kind of responses there can be. Where a loved one can hold the hand of a family member who is miles away or in a situation where you can't get to them. Yeah. Technology could bring us one step closer to a world where physical touch is not limited by distance. Fantastic. One of the nicer things that I've seen come out of the Innovation Hub in recent times.
That's absolutely delightful. 1974 brought us Lady Marmalade, Patti LaBelle, known as the godmother of soul. She was born Patricia Louise Holt in Philadelphia. She has a son, Zuri, who became her manager, although Zuri, whose name means good in Swahili, through Zuri, LaBelle is a grandmother of 2 girls and 1 boy. I hope you enjoy this particular song, which is Patti LaBelle with Lady Marmalade. If you have an opinion or a question, text us on 0485 838 436. Making IT easy with Tony and Kay on HFM 107.3. And that's, of course, the tune for the socials. And what have we got today? Well, we've been talking about music for Mother's Day, or we've been talking about women in music. And Mother's Day isn't always the nicest thing for everybody. So there is a local group called Pregnancy Matters. If you have lost a child and you're on your own tomorrow, then there's a place that you can call which can give you some support. some support. This actually came from the Armidale Gosnells Byford Facebook chat group, so thank you very much for putting it up there. And the phone number is 0493 466 140, where you can give them a call and talk about pregnancy matters. That number again, 0493 466 140, or hop on the socials. Now, what else have we got? Do you love your local park? I found from the socials that the Australian Park Life Survey is happening. It's capturing park use and experiences across Australian cities. So you can log on and put your favourite park, your sports reserve, dog park, playground, community garden or nature space on the map. You would need to go to australian.park-life.com. So that's australian.park-life.com. Surveys have actually been extended, and it's extended until the 21st of May. You can go into an early bird prize draw to win one of 10 $100 Westfield, Colesmire or Bunnings vouchers. But more importantly, you can put in your local park. And I know that the councils that we deal with, Council Gosnells, Canning, Serpentine, Jarrahdale and Armidale, has some amazing parks that they've worked on. So do them and yourself a good service and drop that onto the Australian Park Life Survey. If you need more of this information, hop onto our website, magooit.com.au, and have a look at the show notes. You'll find more information. What else have we got? We have coming up the Festival Club at Studio 9. I've been talking about in a couple of our shows. It's a great little venue that's just local in the City of Armidale, and the City of Armidale is putting on Graham Greene, Road to the Blues and Other Stories. It's coming up on the 19th of May. Check out your socials if you want to see more about that. And last but not least, City of Gosnells. They are seeking feedback from the local community about whether to introduce a multi-ward system for council elections. So at the moment, if you're going to elect somebody, you do it for the whole of the City of Gosnells, and they're talking about breaking the council up into smaller sections and having different people in those wards that you can vote for. So if you have a strong opinion on that, you can go to yoursay.gosnells.wa.gov.au. That again is yoursay.gosnells.wa.gov.au, and follow your nose, or just hop on the City of Gosnells website and you'll find your way to it. So that's what we have in the socials today. We are moving on to It Should Have Been Me by Yvonne Fair. And I've completely lost my notes for her, so we're just going to go to the song. Oh, here we go. Thank you very much, Tony.
You're welcome.
1963 originally, this version 1975. Born Flora Yvonne Coleman in Richmond, Virginia on October 12th, 1942. She dropped out of high school in 11th grade to marry Leroy Fair and gave birth to their son Leroy Fair Jr. shortly after. And later on, she had a daughter, Venetia Brown, with James Brown.
Oh.
Who knew?
Walking down the aisle, and as he passed me by, he turned to me, gave me a smile. Then the preacher joined their hands, and all the people began to stand when I shouted, "It should have been me." Oh, it should have been me. You know it should have been me. Baby, how can you do this to me? You made a promise that we'd never part.
Would you ask that there be silence, please? If any objections to this wedding, speak now or forever, forever hold your peace. And I stood up and said it should have been me. No, it should have been me. Jumped out of my seat and screamed it should have been me. Oh, you're blowing my mind. People believe me. That man is mine. It should have been me. No, you know it should have been me. It should have been me. Somebody call the police. That woman down there is a doggone thief. Should have been me. No, that it should have been me. It should have been me.
For show notes or to listen to past shows or to email a listener question, head to our website magooit.com.au and follow the links to Making IT Easy.
Why pay new prices when you can give something previously loved a new life, save money, and help save the planet? At Second Chance Op Shop in Kelmscott, we have an amazing selection of books, clothing, and homewares, all great quality and at low, low prices. So why not refresh your library, wardrobe, and give your home some finishing touches by visiting our shop on 255 Railway Avenue, Kelmscott. Second Chance Op Shop. Find us on Facebook and come and have a browse. Station sponsor.
But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along, and so you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I'd have known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Oh, now go, walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not
Randwick, Armadale and Serpentine. We're the voice of your community. 107.3 HFM.
Tell us what's in the Tech Absurd this week.
Okay, this is called Belty Power.
I love it already.
Right, there's a little picture. If you jump on our website, magooit.com.au, and have a look at the show notes for
It's called Belty.
Might episode number 34, you will notice a leather belt. Okay, it's a leather belt with quite an attractive looking buckle with an S for Superman on it, but it's subtle. It's just a nice little... Anyway, to help, this is designed to help people with low battery anxiety. I'm sure that's a thing. If you look it up, low battery anxiety, and we've all been there, right? Your phone is running low on battery, and you happen to be somewhere, and you have no charger handy.
Oh no, I'm having an LBA moment.
That's right.
Okay.
So they've built a battery pack into the back of the buckle of your belt. Okay. So they've decided to combine the two. So not only do you get a micro adjustable leather belt, and by that I mean it's got one of those little pins that you kind of slide sideways, and if you're a guy, you know what I mean, you can pull it to wherever you want it. There's no holes to worry about, and you just lock it in place. And it comes with a 2,000 milliamp hour battery to keep your phone or whatever the smart device ever ready to take that all-important call. Keep in mind, though, version 2 is already out, and it is made of a metallic substance. So not the nice attractive leather. It looks more like a Superman belt, and it is much wider, and it kind of has a girdling ability to it, and it's auto-adjusting.
Auto-adjusting.
So as you breathe out, if you add pressure to the belt, it slackens slightly. So think of a gentle, elasticated one, but it still will keep your pants up. So Belty Power. Google it. See what you think.
I think that's hot stuff, babe.
Yeah, all right.
In fact, so hot we're going to go to a song. 1979, Donna Summer, the Queen of Disco. We've had a couple of queens. This is the Queen of Disco. She had a daughter, Natalie, who is now called Mimi, a daughter, Brooklyn, who's now an actress, singer and dancer, and a daughter, Amanda, who in 2005 became one half of the musical duo Johnny Swim, alongside Abner Ramirez. Donna Summer's performance debut occurred at church when she was 10 years old, replacing a vocalist who failed to appear. Wouldn't that have been an amazing concert?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we hear from you with our listener question.
And a good question it is too. Can I replace my phone battery?
Oh, that is an excellent question.
So I had to do a bit of research on this because things have changed quite significantly over the few years.
Right.
So very few phones available these days have a consumer removable battery. That's what they call. Like all phone batteries can be replaced, but it's a specialist job, and you've got to kind of unglue the screen and heat them up, and there's a very convoluted process to it. And your phone may not recover very well from that, especially if you try and DIY stuff like that. So please. Don't just assume you can pull your phone apart to replace the battery. There are some things you need to really take into account. So there are phones available that still have a replaceable battery, and that just means you pop the back off easily, and you can put a new battery in that you can purchase from various places online. There are not many to choose from. The one that they tout the most as being good value is the Samsung Galaxy X Cover 6 Pro. Okay, check out the show notes if you want to. It's about $900 though.
Right.
You can pick up a low-end or medium-end Android phone for around the $300 mark is what I would suggest you spend on a decent phone, and that's it. Not replaceable battery. But let me go on. Fairphone 4 is a US. I don't know if it's US actually, it might be an Asian brand, but you can only buy it overseas. Nokia do the Nokia C21. So those three are notable phones that have a replaceable battery. The bottom line though is you would expect a battery to last up to about 4 years with normal use. And realistically, in 4 years' time, are you going to want a new phone anyway?
Yeah.
So if your battery's lasting 3 to 4 years and then you need to replace your battery, I would question whether it's just better to replace the whole phone.
Yeah.
It's going to be older, you might have scratched the screen or broken the screen, or the buttons might not work so well anymore, or the headphone jack if you've got one. You know, there's a lot of wear and tear on a phone.
And this is including the iPhone as well?
Yeah, the iPhones.
Because that's a big difference, isn't it? If you're spending a couple of grand on a phone, you don't necessarily want to replace it after 3 or 4 years. If you're spending $500 on a phone, then you probably really do.
Yeah, but if it's an Apple device, you take it back to the Apple Store and they will do a top-notch job of replacing it.
For a
it's
cost.
around about $100-ish.
Oh, okay,
to get your phone your battery replaced.
Yeah, that's a good option for extending.
A lot of the cheaper cheaper models of the Android stuff is not really worth doing, in my opinion. So if you're finding that after a couple of years, you've still got a couple of years left and your battery's not doing so great, consider getting a battery pack as kind of a stopgap. And they're not expensive, $30 to $50 for a battery pack, and you can recharge your phone during the day when you get a chance to do that.
And this makes it far more important, as you were talking recently in a recent show about using fast charge only during the day and not at night, because you don't want to deteriorate your battery and have less than 4 years out of it.
Look after your battery as best you can, that's right.
Wonderful. Juice Newton was actually born Judith Kay Juice Newton in New Jersey. Her mother encouraged her interest in music, giving her a guitar for her 13th birthday. She bought a thoroughbred gelding named Puppy in 1983, and this is relevant because where she stabled him at the Los Angeles Equestrian Centre, she met and married the coach there. In 1985, and the couple ended up having 2 children, Jessica and Tyler. And this is Juice Newton with Queen of Hearts, originally 1979, and this version in 1980. Love this song.
know you got to have some. Playing with the queen of hearts. No one ain't really smart. Joker ain't the only fool who'll do anything for you. Laying out another line, thinking about a life of crime. 'Cause that's what I'll have to do to keep me away from you. I know you've had a few, but hide your heart beneath the covers and tell them that's the only one. And others, they know just what I'm going through. And it's so hard to be a lover when you say you're only in it for fun. Playing with the queen of hearts. No one ain't really smart. The Joker ain't the only fool who'll do anything for you. Playing with the queen of hearts. And no one ain't really smart. The Joker ain't the only fool who'll do anything for you. I'm laying at another line, thinking about a life of crime. 'Cause that's what I'll have to do to keep me away from you. Playing with the queen of hearts. Playing with the queen of hearts. Playing with the queen of hearts.
Making IT easy, 107.3.
Station sponsor Reed's Remotes are a family-owned and run business. They offer a one-stop shop to most remotes and keys, stocking WA's largest range of replacement garage and gate remotes and batteries to fit all makes and models. Replacement keys from spare keys to house keys, flip keys and smart proximity keys. They are fully licensed to cut and program spare car keys. Located east of Vic Park, you can find them online or in store. Head to reedsremotes.com.au. Station sponsor.
MRB 8165.
Lock your dial to 107.3. Frank and Ada and the Hen Shooter coming up from 3 till 6 with Rock Aria. Fourth Dimension until 9. HFM, the voice of your community.
For men who are doing it tough, it's not always easy to know what support services are accessible or appropriate for them. The Doing It Tough website provides links and resources for men at risk of suicide to a broad range of services, from clinical services to local men's groups. It was developed by Suicide Prevention Australia in partnership with the Australian Men's Health Forum and is a place for men to decide for themselves what support or services are appropriate for their need. We caught up with Glenn Poole, CEO of the Australian Men's Health Forum, to find out more.
Doing It Tough is an online resource specifically for blokes in New South Wales, and the idea of the site is to provide men who may be at risk of suicide with quick and easy access to a range of support services that are available nationally across the state and in some cases in their local area.
To find out more and to find the help that's right for you, visit doingittough.org.
The Community Radio Suicide Prevention Project is produced with the support of the Australian Government Department of Health.
In Thornley, Mount Nasura and Jarrahdale, we're the voice of your community. 107.3 HFM.
Now breathe deeply. No, this is the theme music for Soundscapes. No, is it? Yes, it is. No, it's called Wordscapes. I don't know why I've got Soundscapes because I'm thinking
It
of the
sounds
sounds.
like Soundscapes, yes.
So Wordscapes is a word puzzle game created by the American studio People Fun, and it's available on Android and iOS. And if you jump onto the Apple or the Google stores, search for Wordscapes. Okay. If you're a Windows user on the Windows platform and you go to the Microsoft Store, they don't actually have a Wordscapes per se, but there are many versions of similar programs. And the one that I found that's the closest is called Word Uncrossed. So if you particularly want to play on your Windows PC or laptop, have a look for Word Uncrossed. Otherwise, on your iDevices and your Google Play, look for Wordscapes. So what it is, it's a mix of Boggle. Do you remember Boggle?
I do. It
was a dice,
Had
wasn't
a dice with letters on it in a little cube, and you'd shake it, and it would set all the dice into a pattern, and then you had to try and find as many words as you could with the letters that you could see.
There you go. So very similar in that regard, but it's also a bit like a crossword puzzle. So combine the two together. So to solve the puzzle, you must find every listed word using those letters, and the letters are arranged in a circle, and you kind of use your finger to slide from one letter to another to make up a word. So, whatever the word spells out, and there will be a challenge of how many 3-letter words, 4-letter words, 5-letter words, up to 7-letter words, and then there's a bonus word as well. Right. So the idea is you kind of do this every day if you feel like it, and it's challenges your mind a little bit. It's a bit of fun.
Yes.
Yeah. You can challenge other people. It's great, and you earn coins which you can then spend on various things in the app for boosts and stuff like that. Look, there's 6,000 levels, so chances are you won't come across the same one again during your lifetime.
Yes.
And there's extra master levels that you can complete, assuming you complete the first 6,000. There's a daily puzzle to keep you engaged, and there are themes. So look, it's worth playing around with something like this just to have it on your device. And if you're thinking, I don't really feel like doing anything, you can scroll through your Facebook feed, or you can play something like
a little bit of baby brain training.
Wordscapes.
Yeah.
Good fun.
Excellent. Aretha Franklin, Freeway of Love, 1985. Another queen. She was the Queen of Soul, born 1942. Her father was a Baptist minister and circuit preacher. I think this is interesting. I haven't seen the movie about her, but this little bit of information makes me think I should go and check it out. Her mother was an accomplished piano player and vocalist. They both had children from previous relationships in addition to the 4 that they had together. They had a troubled marriage due to Mr. Franklin, him being the Baptist minister and circuit preacher's infidelities. And they separated when Aretha was about 6 years old, and her mother died just before her 10th birthday. She was a mother to 4 boys. She was pregnant at age 12.
Wow.
And had Clarence, and she had Edward at 15, and then she had 2 others. And just one bit of trivia, owing to the pink Cadillac appearing on the cover art and several times in the lyrics of this particular song, she had more than 100 pink Cadillacs accompanying her in the funeral procession in August of 2018. This is Freeway of Love, Aretha Franklin.
Doing
amazing Aretha Franklin with Freeway of Love. Hope you've enjoyed that and hope you've enjoyed our show today. I've enjoyed being here.
Yes, it's been great fun.
Yes, looking forward to being back again next week, of course. I have another Something for Nothing, and we will do the app of the day that we missed today, which was Stokard. I know there'll be another game. Yes, all of our usual.
I like to decide towards the end of the week because something might inspire me. So, and it keeps you guessing until the show.
Keep it a bit flexible. So stay tuned for Rock Aria coming up.
Hey, something's happening with Rock Aria today.
Well, we're going to send our big, hearts and hugs out to the Frankinator who is sick. Like, he's got man flu, I think, deathbed kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So,
his fingers are working all right, though, isn't he?
Apparently, yes.
He's posting quite happily.
So yours truly is going to be panelling for the show. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, not sure about that. We have some guests coming in, which will be amazing. And we have Hugo doing his meltdown and the hen shooter, of course, running the show. So, just like listen in because
it'll
what
be interesting.
Could possibly go wrong. Thanks again. We are going out with Bette Midler, Miss Otis Regrets, originally 1934, this version 1990. She was born in December the 1st, 1945 in Honolulu. Her family was one of the first Jewish families in a mostly Asian neighbourhood. Her mother Ruth was a seamstress and housewife. Her father worked in the Navy base in Hawaii as a painter and also painted houses. She married artist Martin von Hasselberg on December 16th, 1984, and the two have one daughter, actress Sophie von Hasselberg, best known for co-starring in the Woody Allen film Irrational Man.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Day.
And we'll catch you next week.
Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today. Madam, Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today. And she's sorry to be delayed. But last evening down at Lover's Lane she strayed. Madam, Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today. When she woke up and found that her dream of love was gone, Madam, she ran to the man who had led her so far astray. And from under her velvet gown, she drew a gun and shot her lover down. Madam, Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today. When the mob came and got her and dragged her from the jail, Madam, they strung her up on the willow across the way. And the moment before she died, she lifted up her lovely head and cried, Madam, Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch